You know, for centuries, there's been one silhouette that has just defined London. It's a symbol of faith, of power, and honestly, of unbelievable resilience. This is the story of St. Paul's Cathedral. For more than 300 years, this incredible dome has been watching over the city. It sits right on Ludgate Hill. That's the highest point in the city of London, and for over 250 of those years, it was the tallest building around. It's just always been there, a reassuring presence.
But here's the thing, this building is so much more than just a famous landmark. It's a story of genius, of sheer survival, and it really holds the soul of a nation, all written in Portland stone. So come on, let's uncover the secrets that are built into its very foundations.
Okay, so to really get the St. Paul's that we see today, we've got to go back, way back, through centuries of fire and destruction. Its story is one of constantly rising from the ashes.
And get this, a church dedicated to St. Paul has been on this exact spot for over 1,400 years. I mean, that is just incredible. The very first wooden church was built way back in 604 AD.
And believe me, its history has been pretty rough. After the early versions were destroyed by Vikings and fires, the Normans started building the massive Old St. Paul's in 1087. At one point, its spire was actually the tallest in Europe until it was struck by lightning. But the biggest disaster of all came in 1666, when the Great Fire of London left the whole medieval cathedral as just a smoldering ruin. But you know, out of all that destruction came this incredible opportunity. After the Great Fire, one man was given the job of creating a brand new masterpiece for a new age, the absolutely brilliant architect Sir Christopher Wren. All right, let's head inside and start our journey upwards. This is a journey that's going to take us from the huge cathedral floor right up into the London sky. The second you walk through those doors, wow, the sheer scale of it just hits you. Wren designed this gigantic nave to inspire total awe and to be big enough to host the entire nation. And it has. It's kind of like a national memorial hall, with monuments to some of Britain's most important people, like the Duke of Wellington, the guy who won at Waterloo. Okay, here we go. Our climb begins. The first part of the journey is 257 steps, winding their way up into the very heart of that famous dome. And these steps take you to the Whispering Gallery. Now, this place is an amazing acoustic marvel, and the crazy part is, it was kind of an accident. Because of the way the wall curves, if you whisper against it on one side, someone 34 meters away on the other side can hear you perfectly.
But wait, we are not done yet, not by a long shot. To get to the very top, it's a grand total of 528 steps. Yeah, it's a serious climb, I won't lie, but the payoff, trust me, it is worth every single step.
And this is what you've been climbing for, the Golden Gallery. From up here, 85 meters above the ground, you get the most stunning panoramic views across all of London. It's only when you're up here that you really, truly get why St. Paul's is the heart of this city. Okay, so we've been in the dome, we've seen the view, but how in the world did Wren actually build this thing? Let's dive into the architectural genius behind this icon. The secret, it turns out, lies in something called a catenary curve. Now, just think of a simple chain hanging between 2 points. That natural U-shape it makes under its own weight, that's it. Wren, who was a brilliant scientist before he was an architect, worked with another scientist, Robert Hooke, and they figured out that if you just flip that shape upside down, you get the perfect, strongest, self-supporting arch. It's just this incredible moment where science and art come together. And this is where Wren's genius really kicks into high gear. See, he didn't build one dome. No, he built 3. The inner dome, that's the beautiful one you see looking up from inside the cathedral. The outer dome, that's the famous icon you see in the skyline. But tucked away between them is the real hero, a massive brick cone that does all the heavy lifting, holding up that heavy stone lantern at the very top. It is absolutely genius. And just to give you an idea of the sheer scale we're talking about, that whole structure, the dome, the cone, the lantern, all of it, weighs an unbelievable 65,000 tons. That's about the same weight as a modern cruise ship, just perfectly balanced over the city. All right, so from the very top of London, let's head all the way down deep into the crypt to see how St. Paul's has become the nation's church. You have to understand, for centuries, this cathedral has been the stage for Britain's most important moments, the highs and the lows. It's hosted state funerals for national heroes like Admiral Lord Nelson and Sir Winston Churchill.
It saw the royal wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer, and Jubilee celebrations for queens. But it's also a place where the nation comes to grieve, holding services for the victims of the Grenfell Tower fire and the 7/7 bombings.
So, right beneath your feet as you walk on the cathedral floor is the largest crypt in all of Europe. And down here are the tombs of Britain's most celebrated heroes, including the side-by-side tombs of Admiral Nelson and the Duke of Wellington, two absolute giants of British history. And then, right there, among all these grand tombs for heroes and leaders, you find the man who made it all possible, Sir Christopher Wren. He's buried under a simple stone slab with a Latin inscription that famously says, "Reader, if you seek his monument, look around you." So, the great news is you can go and experience all of this history for yourself. If you're planning a visit, here are just a few quick things to keep in mind.
First off, getting there is super easy. The closest tube stop is St. Paul's on the Central Line. My advice? Book your tickets online ahead of time. You might get a discount. Now, this is important. They have a strict bag policy, so don't bring a big backpack. You'll want to give yourself at least 2 hours to see everything properly. And finally, the main cathedral and the crypt are accessible, but that famous climb to the dome galleries, that's stairs only.
You know, when you think about it, from surviving the Blitz, standing tall while bombs fell all around it, to being a place where people come together for moments of joy and sadness, St. Paul's is so much more than just stone and lead. It's a living monument to the spirit of a city.
For centuries, it's been a powerful symbol of resilience. The real question is, when you go and stand there yourself, what will it mean to you?